So we need to be able to find limits when we are given a graph. And the two different types of limits we're going to deal with are one-sided and two-sided limits. So the first row here is all talking about approaching the x value of -2. So when we look at this graph here, we're really looking at just like this x value here. And so we're either going to approach it from the left side or the right side or both. And when we look at this, when we see this first one here that says the limit as x approaches -2, and then it has this little plus sign here, that's telling us which direction we're coming from. So this is a one-sided limit, and we're coming from the positive side or the right side. So when I look at the graph here, I'm approaching -2 from the right side, which tells me that my y value here is approaching -1 because that's this y value. So from the right, we're going to say -1, and I'll zoom out here to give us a better look. And so then the second part here says we're approaching -2 and then a little minus sign, which means from the left side. So this is another one-sided limit. And as we approach from the left side, it is also pointing towards the y value of -1. And now a reminder that when we have this x approaches -2 that doesn't have a minus or a plus, that means it's a two-sided limit, and both the left and right side have to point towards the same thing so that we can make a prediction. And since they both point towards the y value of -1, I can say that the two-sided limit here approaches -1, or we can estimate the limit is -1. Now, a reminder that the open circle versus closed circle doesn't matter here. It doesn't actually care what the point is saying. It is just asking us what we would predict based off of the left and the right sides. And we would predict that our y value is -1. So second one here is looking at approaching the x value of 0. And so when I look at this one, I'm approaching 0 from the right side. So approaching 0 from the right side, and it looks like it's also pointing towards -1. So kind of see a little pattern here. The left side approaching 0 is also approaching -1, and then our two-sided limit as x approaches 0, since both the left and the right side point towards the same thing, we're at -1. And now, again, the only difference between the two that I've done so far is that the first one had an open circle, this one did not. And either way, we still got the same two-sided limit here because the left and the right side both approach the same y value. Now, last one here is talking about x approaching the x value of 2 from the right side. So from the right side, we see it's approaching here. And this is going to be the first time that we see that the left and right side don't approach the same value. So in this time, the left side approaching an x value of 2 looks like it's approaching 3. And since the left and the right side don't point towards the same value, I see a 6 and a 3 here, then the two-sided limit as x approaches 2 does not exist because we can't make a prediction based off of the left and the right side since they give us different information.